Hi everybody, I'm Eric Walker. Welcome to AllForSciFi.com, and today we're going to review, as if you couldn't tell, The Mandalorian Chapter 14. The episode is called The Tragedy. And but before we get started, if this is the first time you've ever come across our channel, please hit the subscription button below and also hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video or we go live at some event for a live stream, because we often cover live conventions like comic book conventions, sci-fi conventions, Star Wars conventions. And you're going to want to know next time we go live at LA Comic Con, or we go live at D23 or San Diego Comic Con. That way we could give you a front stage row and you could see what everything's going on without even going to that convention. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified every time that we upload a new video or go live. Also, another important reason for that is every week during our live podcast, and we have a trivia show where you could win free prizes, and all you have to do is watch the live stream on YouTube, and then at the end we will do a little trivia contest, and it's going to be a question that's based on something we mentioned during our podcast, and then if you get the question right, you could win a free prize. A few weeks ago, we actually gave away a baby Monopoly game by Parker Brothers. It was the new baby and Mandalorian themed Monopoly game, and that was quite a giveaway. So we're going to continue to give away more. In fact, we're almost up to 10,000 subscribers, so once we reach that milestone, we're going to have a very special gift to give everybody. So without that further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Here at All4Sci-Fi, when we give ratings and reviews, we have a rating system that's 0 to 5 stars, 5 stars being the best. If it's 3 stars or below, we don't recommend you review it, stream it. In the old days before COVID, we wouldn't recommend you go to the movie theater. Hopefully we'll get back to that next year in 2021. But if it's 3 stars or below, we don't recommend you watch it at all. So our rating system is 0 to 5 stars. And for this particular episode, Chapter 14, which is called The Tragedy. Let's see what Din Djarin has to say.
What's your highest bounty? This is the way.
This is the way. You should watch our review show. Okay, so for this particular episode, this episode was also, by the way, I want to mention, was directed by Robert Rodriguez. And as you all know, Robert Rodriguez is very famous for directing, all the Spy Kids movies, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and also all the, with the Danny Trejo, all the, macho type things. So in fact, in this particular episode, he gives a little bit of tribute to Danny Trejo in this episode. But okay, so this official rating for The Mandalorian Chapter 14, The Tragedy, gets, I don't even need to say this, guys. It's that good. 5 stars. Yep. It gets 5 stars, baby. If I could give this episode 10 stars, I would, but then that would defeat the purpose. We only have a rating system of 0 to 5 stars, but this episode gets 5 big stars. And wow. Let's go ahead and do a review and discussion of this episode. So if you haven't seen this episode, you might want to hit pause and come back later, but we always give the rating out first so that you guys could see what the rating is and decide if you want to watch it. Okay, wow. This episode was a fanboy's dream come true. Wow. Okay, so this episode starts off actually kind of right where the last one left off with Ahsoka Tano. They just left the planet, and Ahsoka Tano told Din Djarin to take the child. She said that she could not train the child because the child has too many attachments to Din, Papa Din here. I'm going to call him Papa Din. So Ahsoka Tano told Din Djarin she can't train him. Take him to, I think it was the planet was called Tython. Take him to Tython, and there's an old Jedi temple there. Sit the child on the seeing stone, and then let which we found out the child's name, by the way, it's Grogu. So put Grogu on the Seeing Stone, and then we'll let Grogu decide. If he calls out to the Force, he'll decide his fate. And then if there's not very many Jedi left, of course, after all that's happened, but if a Jedi Master is in the area and they decide to come, they'll come and they'll train Grogu. Wow. Anyway, so this episode, actually, I thought that they were going to have like another episode in between, like they did with the Ahsoka episode. I didn't think Ahsoka was coming next. I thought on their way they were going to have some sort of thing happen between time, and it did. But this one, they went right to the planet Tython right away. And so they're there. And Din has a really, really kind of a father-son type of a talk with Grogu. And he has the little ball that the boy likes to play with. And he's telling the little boy, why didn't you show the nice, he calls Ahsoka Tano the nice lady, why didn't you show him what you could do? And then he tests his Grogu again, and he holds up the ball and says, take it. And Grogu takes it. And of course, he uses the brand new Star Wars, well, at least this season, almost every episode of The Mandalorian has the Star Wars swear word. Dang, Ferrick, why didn't you show the lady you could do that? Yeah, why didn't you, Grogu? Dang, Ferrick. I guess that's better than saying a bad word, but I'm kind of getting sick of this word, by the way. Stop using it. You've said it enough in this episode. We know what it means now. So that would be my only gripe, and it's not really a gripe in terms of ratings, but stop saying that word over and over and over. So he has a talk with Grogu and says that he's going to take Grogu, put him on the Seeing Stone, and then you need to do whatever you need to do, call out to the Force. He kind of gets choked up a little bit, like a father that's, letting the son go or something like that matter. So he has that quick talk when they're, above the planet after they've arrived. And then after that, they go ahead and go down to the planet. And of course, he does this circling thing once he finds where the Jedi Temple stones are. And of course, Grogu is, like he's having a great time with this ride with his daddy. They're turning around. Also, every time Din says his name, he says, Grogu. Every time he says it, the kid looks up like he's happy his dad knows his name now. And at one moment, even Din Djarin is laughing. He goes, Grogu. And then he laughs at the kid. So it's kind of a cute moment. Okay, so he cannot land. The platform is too small for the Razor Crest to land. So he says, sorry, we're going to have to fly the last part of the way there. So they land the Razor Crest. Next shot, you see them in the jetpack. And of course, Grogu is having a great time. Flying. And then they land. They walk over up to, in between, and they see the Seeing Stone. It's pretty obvious that the Seeing Stone's right there in the middle. He sits Grogu on the Seeing Stone and tells him, go ahead and do whatever you got to do, see or whatever. And at that moment, we see these butterflies, and Grogu is like trying to grab one of. Did you think that Grogu was going to eat one of the butterflies when he did that? I thought that, but he gets distracted by that, and then at that moment, it goes to a shot in the sky, and we see a space. We see someone coming, a ship coming, and the second I saw that ship, I let out this scream. I probably woke my wife up because it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I went, oh no, yeah! Because guess what ship was coming to land? Slave One, baby. Boba Fett. Boba Fett shows up. I knew it was his, of course, everybody knows Slave One and Boba Fett, that ship. We all played with it when we were kids. But, okay, so Boba Fett lands, and then, of course, Din is telling the Grogu, hurry up, kid, someone's here. But at that moment, when he turns around, he is now calling to the Force. And this light, this beam of light is shooting up into the sky, and Grogu is sitting in a lotus position, and he's calling to the Force. So he has picked. I think Grogu has picked he wants to learn more about the Force, and he wants to become a Jedi. He's picked. He made it. He called out to the Force. And of course, Din goes there and tries to grab him, and it knocks him back because it has this barrier that sealed barrier is also working as a barrier, so he can't get to Grogu. And so he goes, okay, just hurry up and finish what you're doing, kid. And then so I'll buy you some time so you could finish calling out to the Force. So he goes down, walks way away from back to where the slave one ship in Boba Fett is. He walks way down, way away, and in fact you see in the background he's pretty far away from Grogu because you can still see the beam of light. He's calling the Force shooting up way behind him. And Boba Fett basically, shows up and says, "I've been tracking you, Mandalorian. I've been tracking you." And he comes out, takes his hood off, you see, and it's Temuera Morrison, who was Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father, and now he's playing Boba Fett without the mask on, which makes sense because it was the Jango Fett and all the clones. They all were, and Boba was a clone of his dad, so it makes perfect sense. Sorry, Daniel Logan, you didn't get a shot to be Boba Fett, but with all honesty, you're a great guy. I like you, but you really don't look like Jango Fett as an adult. You still look like a younger Boba. So I don't think it would have worked out. You actually aged well. You still look very young. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. Of course, Temuera was Jango Fett as an adult, so we know what Boba Fett was supposed to look like. And you don't look like that. You still look like a younger version of yourself. So sorry you didn't get that role. There's also some other things behind the scenes about why he may or may not got that. I won't get into that. I've heard that Daniel Logan is a nice guy to everybody. Sorry you didn't get the role. That's all I got to say, because I would be upset too if I didn't get it. Okay, so as they're chatting, he lets Din Djarin know that there is a sniper above him. And of course, Din, in his cocky self, says, "You know what? That's okay. By the time they shoot me and the blast goes off, I will have already taken you out, and you'll be done." Like maybe with a blaster like this, maybe one of these. Oh no, or maybe one of these. The little fire thing here. See the fire thing? That's cool, huh? Choo, 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 choo. Or he'll have some words of wisdom.
I want my next job.
He wants his next job. Okay.
They work for the Empire.
Okay. They work for the Empire.
I did what I had to.
Oh, yeah, of course you did.
I know the drill.
You know the drill.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Okay. He didn't quite say that to Boba Fett. I could bring you in warm or cold, but at that moment, Boba Fett says, "I didn't say that sniper was going to shoot you. That sniper's going to shoot the kid. It's going to shoot Grogu." And of course, that upsets him. And as they're talking, they both, Boba Fett says, let's put down our weapons and stuff like that. Boba Fett tells him, well, you got to also put down the jetpack as well. So they agree to a stalemate there. And and guess who is up? Guess who the sniper is? Everybody last year knew at the end of the Gunslinger episode from last season when they were on Tatooine. They knew when they heard that boot that was Boba Fett last year, and that Boba Fett was helping. Guess who the sniper is? It's Fennec, the assassin. And of course, she makes a comment because Din immediately says, "Fennec, what happened? What?" And then she comes down and she explains about how she opens up her stomach and explains how she's now at the service of Boba Fett because Boba Fett saved her. But before she does that, she looks at Din Djarin, who's seems startled. I don't know how she could tell he's startled. He says, "You look like you've seen a ghost." Well, I mean, it's all dialogue and great dialogue, but he's got the helmet on, so how can you tell that? I don't know, but maybe just his body actions and the way he seems shocked. Okay, I buy it. He did look shocked, even though you couldn't see it. Okay, so they basically, Boba Fett tells Din, "I want my armor back." And we were wondering when he was going to do that. And of course, Din says, "Your armor, are you Mandalorian?" And he goes, I am a simple man like my father before me. And he goes, you're not answering that. So are you a Mandalorian? And at first he thinks he wants to take his Beskar armor and his suit, but then he says, no, I want my suit. So he lets him know that that suit he had gotten from the sheriff over on Tatooine called Venth is his, Boba Fett's, and it is his. So I don't know how. One of these days we're gonna maybe in the next episode they could explain why he no longer had Boba Fett had his armor. I'd like to find out how that happened. A bunch of people have been speculating that maybe when he after he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit, that maybe he was knocked out and the Jawas showed up while he was knocked out and took his armor off him. That's a logical explanation. So we'll find out if they bring that up in any other future episodes. But they agree to, they start to make an agreement, and then all hell breaks loose, and the Empire, the stormtroopers show up and start coming out, so they have to quickly, and this is some of the best fight scenes, and some people have complained that it's too long. It's not too long. This episode's only like 40-something minutes. It's not a very long episode. It's not one of the longest episodes this season. The fight scene was just the right length, and the action with Boba Fett taking his metal piece and cracking some skulls, some of the stormtrooper skulls, was some of the biggest violence I've ever seen in Star Wars. But it wasn't bloody because it's Star Wars, so it wasn't blood and guts. But it came close. It came close to crossing the line. But it was some great battle action between Boba Fett and the stormtroopers, and then Din, in the midst of all this, goes back up there and tries to convince the kid, come on, we gotta go. And he tries to get to the kid again and really forces his way to the kid. And the Force knocks him the hell out, basically. He falls way back and gets knocked out. So you have Fennec and Boba Fett trying to, calm everything down. And they're killing lots of stormtroopers in the midst of all this. And that's where we have that one shot that Robert Rodriguez did, kind of like in tribute to Danny Trejo, where she jumped like this off the rock and shot. And I mean, it's this entire season is great because they're allowing these directors. These are big time directors, guys. I mean, even a couple episodes ago, when they first went back to Tatooine, the director of all the Ant-Man movies directed that episode, and now we got Robert Rodriguez. So Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, you guys are really, really doing it great. Every week I say the episode's better. How many weeks am I going to say this? This season it's been every week. So there's only 2 more episodes left. How are you going to top all these episodes? I don't know, but we're going to find out. So anyway, so thank you for all that you're doing and bringing back, big time directors and bringing back Star Wars the way it should be. And you guys really have, you've captured on to something that George Lucas had when he started Star Wars and we were doing the Ewok movies. Because, if some of you don't know that, most of you probably watching this do know this, but I played Mace Tawani in Caravan of Courage, the Ewok movie. And that was magical back then, too. Even the Ewok movies are great, like the original trilogy. In fact, they're taking parts from our movie, like these blurgs right here. They're taking the blurgs and other things from our movies, Ewoks: A Battle for Endor, and taking stuff from those movies, which are great. So it's all part of Star Wars and what we all love, that magical time back in the 70s and 80s. And then we had the big spell before the prequels came. The prequels, to me, are still good on many levels as well. So I'm not going to do any bashing here. That's not what this is about. And I love everything Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fanboy. From the time that George Lucas used to send me Star Wars toys when I was a kid. Thank you, George, for doing that. I still remember that, and I still have those toys, by the way. So this episode is just great. And at one point, finally, Din wakes back up. He goes back down. He's with Fennec and Boba Fett, and Fennec and then right as they're down there, they're all afraid of Boba Fett because Boba Fett is whipping them really good. So they all take off and leave. And then after they leave the area, you see a shot coming from space, and the shot comes down, and the whole meaning of this entire episode, the tragedy, struck when that shot from outer space hits the Razor Crest and blows up the entire Razor Crest. That's why they called it the tragedy, right? What do you think?
No droids.
Well, yeah, that's true. No droids as well. So, but we also have no Razor Crest any longer. Okay, so after when that happens, of course, Fennec says, "Go get to the ship." He tells Boba Fett to get to the ship before that happens to Slave One. So he takes off, and Fennec and Din Djarin are there left to wrap everything up. And right after they wrap the stuff that they're doing up, they're running up to try to get to the child, to Grogu. And as they're doing that, in between, we go back to the ship that just blew up the Razor Crest, and we see Moff Gideon again. And Moff Gideon orders he's calling them Death Troopers, to go get the kid. And so we see these Death Troopers come out of the ship. It's the ones we saw earlier in a couple episodes before that. And these Death Troopers kind of look like Darth Vader, but they also look like a dog. They kind of have like a dog's shaped face, but also like Darth Vader as a dog. That's the best way I could describe them. But they fly down, and right before Din Djarin and Fennec can get up to the top to save Grogu, they grab Grogu. So now they've got the child again, just like last season, all this drama right near the end, where the kid's being kidnapped. This is the second season, and it's great, and it's awesome, guys. But next year, I'm telling you guys now, next year, don't do the same things. Okay? I'm glad you're doing it. You're doing the same things in a different way this season, and they're great. I love it. I still love it. I'm happy we have Fennec. I'm happy we have Boba Fett. I'm happy we're seeing the kid we're seeing more of Grogu and him, starting to use the Force. We're seeing the bonding between Din Djarin, the father figure, and Grogu. There's a lot of great things going on in this season that's different than last season, so it's not the same, but it's a lot the same. It is very much the same. I mean, what episode was it that they shot and killed Quill and they grabbed the kid? It was was it about now, or was it I think it was. Somebody in the comments let me know what episode last season they grabbed the kid, if it was similar. But it's following the same patterns, and that's fine. But after this season, let's let the kid, let Grogu have this Jedi come and get him, whoever it is. My speculation is it's Luke. I know some people online have been talking about maybe Ezra Bridger would be good, and that would be a good choice too. But I think it's going to be Luke, because this is how many 8 or 10 years after they follow the Empire, so Luke is still very young. So why couldn't it have been him? Why can't it not be Luke? So I think it's going to be Luke that's going to train Grogu. I said this a couple reviews past and a couple weeks ago as well. So, but we'll see. Who knows? They're full of surprises, and I just recently have seen and read online that they're asking Mark Hamill, Lucasfilm is asking Mark Hamill if Sebastian Stan could play Luke, a younger Luke, because he looks like Luke Skywalker. I looked like Luke Skywalker when I was a kid, but I'm too old now. But as a kid, I looked a lot like him. But I don't know how old Luke is. I'm over. I just turned 50. I'm almost 51, so I'm too old, and I'm out of shape. I got to get in shape too. So who am I kidding? But but anyway, so they have Grogu. They took Grogu. Boba Fett flies over to see what's going on, and like he's gonna help. And Din tells Boba Fett through Fennec to stand down, just observe what's going on. Because we don't want him to harm the kid. And, of course, great dialogue this entire episode. He follows the Death Troopers up through the clouds, and he sees the Empire ship, and he says, "They're back. They're back." What's back? The Empire's back. How can the Empire be back? This is the New Republic. So the Empire is back, apparently. And, okay, so He then goes back down to where they're at, and they have a scene where they talk about of course, during this whole entire time. Also, I forgot to mention, Boba Fett during the fighting went into the Razor Crest and got his armor, which is a good thing that Boba Fett went into the Razor Crest and got his armor, because if he hadn't, it would have been blown up. So we see them at the Razor Crest, and he's looking. There's nothing left of this Razor Crest. It's totally destroyed. But he finds the little child's ball, and he kind of gets choked up because they have the kid. And he also finds that from the last episode, that the Beskar Steel sword that he got from the lady who was the magistrate who was fighting with Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano gave it to him. So those two things survived. And as they're talking, he tells Boba Fett, thank you for your help. What we agreed upon is done. And Boba Fett says, no, it's not done. We're still in your debt. We promised you that the kid would be safe, and the kid's not safe. So now we're in your debt, and we have to help you with the kid, which is great. So now we got Din Djarin with Boba Fett and Fennec teaming up, which is just what an awesome combination. So they get into the slave ship and they take off. Later we see them land they go back to the planet where this whole thing started, and they talk with Cara Dune, who Din jokes with her, now you're going legit, because now she's the marshal taking care of things there on the lawless planet. I'm trying to remember the name. But there's a lot of names to remember in Star Wars, guys, so forgive me. But he asks for help, and she says anything. And then Din has Cara Dune look up a prisoner that's in prison, and it's the same guy that he helped break out last season. Apparently, he's some sort of sharpshooter, and he wants to break him out to get his help to get the kid. They're going to need more than Cara Dune, and more than Boba Fett, and more than Fennec. They're going to need as many people as they can, apparently, because they're going up against the Empire. And after that quick scene, they go back to the ship, and we see Moff Gideon, and he's going into this area where they have Grogu, the child, and Grogu's really mad because he's whipping around these stormtroopers like they're dolls. He's even force choking them, and then he goes like this and brings them together, and he gets real tired, but he's starting to really show a lot of abilities. Wow, he was really, those stormtroopers were rag dolls to Grogu. But it makes him tired, and he gets tired. And did you notice that Yoda, every time he fought, he got tired? Might have been because he was 900 years old, but apparently they're a small species. Maybe they get tired easy. So Moff Gideon goes up to him and says, oh, see, you're tired. And then, of course, Moff Gideon, the baddie that he is, has to show him the Darksaber. See this? And Grogu looks up like he wants to touch it, and he puts it back, and he goes, no, later. He's baiting the child, later he wants to turn Grogu to the dark side. Do you guys think Grogu's going to go to the dark side? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So after that, he has them knock out Grogu, and then they put these little tiny cuffs on him. Yeah, you better put more than tiny cuffs, because if Grogu was really powerful like Yoda, that wouldn't hold him. So, and then it ends, and it shows us that Robert Rodriguez, yay, directed it. What an episode. Amazing. Wow, can't wait till next week's episode. We only have 2 more episodes left, guys. 2 more, that's it. Who's going to direct them? Do you think they're going to bring back Dave Filoni, or the one who directed the finale last season? It was Takeshi, I can't never pronounce that guy's name, but Takeshi Waititi. Is he going to do it? We'll see. We'll see where it's going to go. Is Luke going to make an appearance and take Grogu by the end of the season? Because next year, guys, I want to get back to more bounty hunting. I want to see Din Djarin more Wild West style bounty hunting. So let's wrap this up this season so we can move somewhere else next season. What do you think about that? Do you want to go bounty hunting more?
What's your highest bounty?
What's the highest bounty? Ooh, he definitely wants to go bounty hunting.
This is the way.
Yep, this is the way. He wants to go bounty hunting. Okay, guys, thank you guys very much. Again, this episode, Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, The Tragedy, gets 5 stars. It'd get more if I could give it. Join us next week when we review Chapter 15. Also, please hit the subscribe button below so that you're notified every time we upload a new video or go live or do our weekly podcast where we also have a roundtable discussion with people, chatting with people, and you also have our live trivia contest where you can win free prizes. I'm Eric Walker for All for Sci-Fi, saying may the force be with all of you.